Hey everybody, it's Jeremy with ABC Emergency, and today we're going to talk about a very overlooked part of emergency preparation, cleaning out your dryer vents. Before we dig into the process of cleaning out your dryer vent, we need to talk about why it's important. Now, all of these videos are about emergency preparation. So how does your dryer play into emergency preparation? Well, over time, as your dryer is working, it's building up lint, both inside the lint trap and in the vents that go down and outside your house. As that buildup accumulates, those vents get tighter and tighter, obstructing the airflow. And lint is extremely flammable. So you basically have a giant long tube that runs down inside your house into the outside that is filled with a very flammable substance. And all it takes is an excess amount of heat or one good spark, and you could have a dryer fire. That rhymes. The tools we're going to be using today: a power drill, a screwdriver, a dryer ducting brush kit. Now I got this online for about $20, and it gives me up to 30 feet of length to clean up my ducting. The last thing you're going to need is a vacuum cleaner. Whether it's a regular vacuum cleaner, I'm going to be using a shop vac. So before we pull out this dryer and start looking at the ducting, let's talk about just cleaning the lint trap. Now, on my dryer, that's right here in the top right-hand corner. You just lift the flap, pull this guy out right here, and as you can see, that's the lint buildup right there. That's the stuff we want to clean out every single time we use our dryer. So, just going to scrape all this away. Once I've got that, I put it back in. And now my lint trap is clean. Following that, we can pull the dryer out, and let's take a look at the ducting. Now, dryer lint is extremely flammable, so much so that I recommend on many occasions that people use dryer lint to make their emergency fire starters. But to drive this point home, I'm going to light this on fire with a single spark. So this is just a simple flint and steel, and all it takes is one good spark, and this will catch fire. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is pull the dryer away from the wall very carefully. Remember, there is a vent tube attached to the back of this, so we're going to give it a nice little pull. If you start to feel too much tension, go ahead and slow it down. We don't want to break anything. We also want to be very careful about any electrical that we have back here. So unplug the dryer if it's electrical. If you have gas, like a gas washer and dryer, make sure you shut off the gas line and disconnect those very carefully. So I'm going to unplug this guy. All right, so there's just enough room for me to kind of squeeze down back here. You can see the dryer tube right here. The first thing I like to do is disconnect it from the dryer so I can kind of move the dryer away. So I'm going to take a screwdriver, and there's a ring clamp down here. We're just going to unscrew that ring clamp so we can take this vent off and then just kind of maneuver around down here. All right, I've got a little more wiggle room, some access to this ducting down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off so that we can look down inside my actual ducts and see what it looks like. So again, take my screwdriver, and we're going to loosen up these circle clamps. Now that I have access to this duct from the inside, I'm going to go outside and make sure that there's nothing covering the outside of this, because what we're eventually going to do is we're going to run the brush down through this ducting all the way to the outside. And I want to make sure that this ducting brush can go all the way out and then escape through the outside vent, so we're cleaning the entire tube. So let's go take a look at the outside vent. All right, this is the duct on the outside of our house, and as you can see, the previous owner put on like a chicken wire fence just to keep critters out. But there's quite a bit of buildup on that. So I'm going to go ahead and take all of this off and then look up inside that vent, make sure that I can still get everything out of there and run the brush through it. Now comes the fun part. We made sure that the outside vent is clear. We got that little gate folded down. We got everything cleaned off of it. So now we're going to actually brush this out. Now the way that this system works is you've got a brush that attaches to these different rods, and you attach the rods, screw them in, and then we're just going to slowly feed these brushes down into the ducting. What I like to do is get a shop vac hose, and I'll put it right next to this, and this will attach to my drill. So as I attach more and more rods, I'll drive this in, pull it all the way out, kind of suck all that lint out, and we'll just go one section at a time. Now, a mistake I learned, and I learned it pretty quickly, you screw these in righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So every time you are using your drill, you want to make sure that you're always drilling clockwise, like you're screwing it in. If you accidentally hit the reverse button and go like that, you're going to unscrew your rods, and you could actually lose this down inside your ducting. So always, always, always clockwise. All right, here we go. So I was feeding the brush through. You know, it's about 2 feet per section, and I get up to 30 feet out of this package that I bought. So I got it all the way down there. All of a sudden I hit something and I couldn't go any further. And I kept trying to feed it through. I'd back it out. I put new rods in, and I kept trying over and over. Finally, I ran out to the outside of the house, ran the rod back in, felt like I hit something, kind of pushed it loose. And when I came back in and ran the rod down, this is what came out. Just a giant packed ball of debris that was just stuck in that tube as I had been cleaning it out. But even now, looking down inside this pipe, it's remarkably cleaner than when I first started. So this was a problem. This was definitely a problem. So the last couple things we have to do, I'm going to go outside, clean up the outside vent, so kind of vacuum up around that, make sure that that's nice and clean of debris. And then we're going to clean out the dryer vent and reattach the dryer. Okay, so a quick update here before we get back to the video. I put everything back together, and a couple days went by and we realized that the dryer wasn't working. We weren't getting any airflow out of the back. So I took everything back apart. I ran my dryer brush back down through the ducting, only to find out that that blockage I thought I had cleared out, I hadn't. I had just shoved it to a different section of the pipe. So I went underneath my house into the crawl space and found a congested section of pipe, cut it out, and cleared all the lint out. Now, it had a massive blockage. It was about this big, and I had to physically remove the pipe and clean it out. So just goes to show you, don't rush through anything. Do it multiple times. I put it all back together, and this time I ran my dryer ducting brush all the way to the outside to ensure that it is actually clean. Now, we just bought this house, and it makes me wonder, have these vents ever been cleaned? I don't know. But again, lesson learned. And that right there is how you clean out your dryer vents and ducting. Now, I've had a lot of people ask me, when it comes to things like this, are they really necessary? Well, in my experience with home preparedness, it's the little things that add up to make a big emergency. So, when it comes to things like cleaning out your dryer vents, yes, they are necessary. Because if this one little thing prevents a disaster at your house, then it's worth it. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, remember to subscribe. See you on the other side.